Hey, what's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? It's your boy Chris. It's your boy Chris. It's another amazing episode of Financipation. This channel is all about making money. It's all about saving money. It's all about building generational wealth. And it's all about financially emancipating yourself from generational poverty. On this channel, everybody, I try to give you a six-figure MBA level worth of investing in financial knowledge for free here on YouTube. And the things that people typically spend hundreds of thousands of dollars or whatever to learn in graduate school and in business school, I give it to you for free on this channel. Before I get started, everybody, I want to give a shout out to one of my sponsors, Kilica Solutions. They're the ones who basically do all the dope digital marketing that you see. They're the ones who do my website development. They're also the ones who basically just put me on Spotify. So shout out to Kilica Solutions about that. And all these dope graphics that you're seeing in regards to the edited YouTube videos or whatever, with the graphics and the movies and everything, they're the ones who put that stuff together. So thank you, Kilica Solutions, because you're fire. And I want to give a shout out to one of my sponsors, okay? Before I get started, everybody, please hit that notification bell. Please like, please comment, please subscribe, and let's go ahead and get started, all right? So over the last couple of weeks, I've focused a lot on wills and trust and the importance of setting your children up and the heirs that you have by passing the wealth from yourself that you spent your entire life building onto them and to the generations preceding you. Essentially, people, in order for you to build generational wealth, you have to make sure that the generations that are coming behind you basically are properly prepared to receive the money that you created your entire life in a tax efficient way. And more importantly, you need to basically be teaching them exactly how grandpa or papa got this money, how dad got this money, and what they need to do in order to continue for the generations or for the eons to come, okay? And the way that you do that, at least in America, the most tax efficient way to do that is via wills and via trusts. So I'm gonna be honest with you, everybody, unless your name is Jesus, Moses, Elijah, or something like that, you're gonna die. All of us people at some point in our lives are not gonna be here pretty much anymore. It's just as simple as that. Death, for the most part, is undefeated. And if you are listening to the sound of my voice, everyone that's listening to my voice needs to get a will or a trust. If you really, really, really hate your family members and you love paying exorbitantly large amounts of taxes and you love giving all your money to lawyers, then die without a will. But what is a will? What's a trust? What are the differences between the two, and which one should you go with? That's the reason why I wanted to do this podcast, is because today we're going to talk about what are the differences between wills and trusts. First and foremost, what exactly is a will? In its truest sense, a will is a legal document that outlines how you want your estate to be distributed when you die to the people that you want to get your assets into, the family members that you love. So a will can include everything from cash to cars to bonds to artwork, stocks, real estate, etc. And the combined total of everything that you own is known as your estate. So a will allows you to outline and declare who should raise your children in the event that you die, who should inherit your brokerage accounts, your assets, who should go to. That's what a will essentially divvies up. And the most common type of will that most people use is a testament will, and that's the one we're going to be talking about primarily in this podcast. And with the testament will, you essentially sign a document in the presence of a witness, and voila, you have a legal document that says how your estate should be divvied up in the event that you die. Next, what is a trust? A trust is another vehicle that legally tells a judge where your assets are to be transferred. Trusts are fiduciary arrangements in which a third party holds assets on behalf of a beneficiary or beneficiaries known as trustees. And these third party trustees can be lawyers, they can be corporations, they can be an accountant, they can even be a responsible family member. And these assets are normally from an older person or whatever, and is given to a much younger person as a form of an inheritance. And trusts are legal arrangements that declare a trustee as a person who's responsible for your estate until the beneficiary is considered responsible enough to inherit it. So just for an example, let's say you're 75 years old and you want to pass your $1 million estate to your 5-year-old grandson. By establishing a trust, you can employ the parents or whomever you choose as a trustee to maintain your estate and your assets until your grandson is 25 or 30 and has proven he is responsible enough to inherit your estate. And the two types of trust we're going to talk about in this podcast are revocable trust and irrevocable trusts. So living trust or revocable trust can be changed at literally any time. If you set yourself up as a trustee of your living trust, you have complete control of the assets, and you can literally change who you decide to give your assets to at any given point. Whereas with an irrevocable trust, they are much more permanent and they can't be altered or dissolved. And once the assets are given to the trustees in an irrevocable trust, they remain in the trustee's possession until they are distributed following the death of the grantor. Revocable trusts, everybody, are temporary. Irrevocable trusts are permanent. Key differences between wills and trusts. Firstly, a will has to pass through a probate. If you're not familiar with what a probate is a procedure in which a court gives permission for your assets to be passed on to your heirs after you die. During a probate, any taxes, such as estate taxes, have to be paid before the funds are given to the heirs. And people, that is very important, okay? One main difference, and it's a very major difference between a will and a trust, is that wills typically only go into effect after you die. And on top of that, during a will, you have to pay estate taxes. With trust, you don't have to do that. Remember, everybody, a will's primary purpose is to declare how a person wishes their estate to be carried out after they die. Therefore, wills do not go into effect until after a person dies or becomes incapacitated. Whereas with a trust, property or assets can be distributed before death, at death, or even after your death, depending on how you want to set it up. With a revocable or living trust, you can literally set an heir up to take your assets away from them if they're not living up to your expectations. That's the power of a trust. It's flexible. And also, I'm going to say this again because, once again, this is a very important point. Remember how I said with a will during a probate, any taxes such as an estate tax have to be paid before your heirs get the money? Well, once again, everybody, with an irrevocable trust, you don't have to pay any estate taxes. And depending on how large your estate taxes can be, that can literally save your family millions of dollars. So, once again, with a revocable trust or a living trust, they can be changed at any point. With an irrevocable trust, they're permanent and they can't be changed. And living trusts, like the ones used in the podcast that I discussed or whatever, in the Living Trust 101, the Rockefeller method, that was a method that Rockefeller used to literally pass billions with a B dollars of money down to his heirs and to his family for over a century. Additionally, more differences between wills and trusts. A will typically covers a specific property that a person owns in their name, whereas a trust covers all the property. That includes life insurance policies, brokerage accounts, and so forth. Another major difference is that trusts are typically private and are only applicable to those involved to the appointing guardians. So if you die with the trust, basically no one knows who gets what or how much. It's not public record. Whereas wills can be very public. Creditors and greedy, lazy family members will show up demanding more money because wills are public record. They can literally go down to the courthouse, find out who got what and how much, and then start demanding they get more money because in their mind, they deserve more. Next, let's talk about advantages and disadvantages of wills. Wills are significantly cheaper than trusts. Wills are also significantly easier to set up. You can literally scribble your name on a sheet of paper, write out what your wishes are, in the presence of a witness, and as long as that witness is willing to testify in court, that is considered a legitimate will. With a will, you can literally name a legal guardian of your children in the event that you and your partner dies, and that is actually a very big one, because if you are the type of individual who has young kids or whatever, the idea that you can basically set up who's going to be the legal guardian of your children before they turn 18, that is actually a very large sticking point about why a lot of people actually go with wills. Okay, disadvantages of a will. With wills, you pay more in taxes, and it is once again very difficult to dodge that estate tax or the probate process that comes with a will. Next, if your estate is large enough, your family will be paying anywhere between 30 to 40% estate taxes depending on the state that you live in. Next, another disadvantage of a will, wills are very public, so anyone can see who gets what assets and how much they are getting or whatever. Next, if you got greedy family members, bad ex-wives, or whoever, these people are going to possibly show up once you die, demanding that they get more money from the family members who you do actually love. Once again, that's a serious disadvantage of a will. Next, advantages of trusts. So trusts provide a lot more flexibility about who gets what. Once again, with a trust, you can set up a myriad of things. Okay, in order for you to get my money, you have to do this. You have to be this age. You have to get this kind of education. You have to learn this type of trade. You have to have this many years of work experience. With trust, it gives you an advantage because it gives you a flexibility that kind of forces your heirs to be more proactive as far as, okay, this is what I need to do to get Papa's money. Next, with irrevocable trust, they allow you to skip the probate process and possibly save millions of dollars on estate taxes. That sticking point right there is the reason why a lot of people decide to go with trust or whatever. Because once again, depending on how you and your attorney set it up, you can literally save your family millions of dollars legally in taxes by having an irrevocable trust. Another thing I love about trust is they have an absolute rock star proven track record about working. Once again, when John D. Rockefeller died in 1937, he was worth over $200 billion. 90 years later, his family is still worth over $10 billion. When Vanderbilt died, he also had $200 billion. Today, his family has less than $10 million, less than 10 million with an M. Once again, trusts have a proven track record. And the reason why the Rockefellers today have literally $10 billion, and the reason why the Vanderbilts have less than 10 million is for a very simple reason. The Rockefellers used living trust, whereas the Vanderbilts did not. Trusts allow your family to save significantly, as you won't have to pay, once again, estate taxes. Trusts are not public record. What that means is that your family has no idea basically who gets what or how much they get, because it's not available for public consumption. Disadvantages of a trust. Trusts are more complicated and they require an estate planner or a finance lawyer essentially to set them up. Trusts are also vastly more expensive. If you go to LegalZoom.com, you can literally get a will for $500 to $700. Pretty straightforward process, nothing complicated about it. With a trust, however, you can pay anywhere from $2,500 to $25,000 for a trust. And you may have to meet with the trust attorney on multiple occasions in order to set it up properly. So those are some of the disadvantages of a trust. In closing, everybody, I'll say this: trust, in my opinion, are a little bit more proactive, because you have to essentially sit down with your loved ones and your heirs and say, in order for you to get Papa or Grandpa's money, baby, this is what I want you to do. This is what you have to do. Whereas with the will, I find a lot of times, unfortunately, people's kids and grandkids literally just kind of sit around waiting for them to die, and it's kind of sad. Also, if you don't have a will or a trust, family members that you do not like are going to show up once you die and to start taking money from family members who you actually love. And what's sad is that 67% of Americans today die without a will. And when you factor in the amount of heartache as far as burying a loved one, the amount of taxes they're going to pay, the amount of lawyer fees and all that stuff, it is literally reprehensible and flat out irresponsible for you to die in America today without a will or a trust, because you can literally go online and Google this stuff as far as how to set up a will. You can literally go to LegalZoom.com or whatever and set up a will. It is that simple. And when people ask me which is better, a will or a trust, I'm going to be honest with you. It kind of depends on you, and it legitimately is a personal decision. It depends on your family size, the age of your children. It depends on the size of your estate. That is a personal decision that you essentially have to decide on your own. But I will say this: if your primary goal is simplicity, you should probably go with a will, because it's significantly cheaper and significantly easier for you to set up. If your primary goal is to reduce taxes legally, then you may want to go with an irrevocable trust or whatever, because you are going to avoid the estate taxes, and you also most likely are going to save yourself millions of dollars, possibly, depending on the size of your estate. If you go with the irrevocable trust, however, you better get an estate attorney, okay? Because it's not an easy process, and it's one of those things, if you do it, you need to do it the right way, okay? In any event, I think this video and the things that I talk about in this video are going to help you kind of decide, should your family go with a will or a trust? But you had better go with one or the other, because it's reprehensible, once again, to die in America without a will or a trust. Before we close, everybody, please hit the notification bell. It allows me to bring you guys new content. I thoroughly enjoy bringing you guys new content, and I'm essentially bringing you an MBA level worth of knowledge and investing advice for free here on YouTube, okay? This channel, once again, Financipation, is all about making money. It's all about saving money. It's all about building generational wealth, and it's all about financially emancipating yourself from generational poverty. You can book a one-on-one session with me at any point. The link is below. With that, everybody, please follow me on Instagram at @thereal_Financipation. I have our Spotify channel is up and running, so definitely check us out. Check out Financipation on Spotify. Just that name, Financipation. We're going to pop up. Our Facebook page is Financipation, and check out some of my digital, my e-products below as well. And definitely check out our website as well. You can find pretty much all this stuff in there, from our scholarship books to our YouTube classes to our e-products, all that stuff. And lastly, everybody, I have a financial blog that's going to be coming out soon as well, okay? Please hit that notification bell. Please like, please comment, please share, please subscribe. Thank you, everybody. It's your boy, Chris. I'm out. Peace. Peace.